Hello and welcome to the Film Pulse Podcast. This is episode number 202. My name's Adam Patterson. Joining me today, we got Kevin Rakestraw. How you doing there, Kevin?
I'm doing pretty good.
This week on the show, we'll be talking about the Coen brothers' latest, Hail Caesar, along with some other stuff we've been watching on the watch list. We'll be doing some movie predictions, new on video on demand, Blu-ray releases. I got some bits of news to talk about this week. Really, I just wanted to go over a couple festival-type things. The Sundance 2016 has wrapped up, and the award winners have been announced. I don't know if you got a chance to take a look at any of these awards that were given out.
I saw a couple, I think.
Probably one of the most notable ones is Nate Parker's The Birth of a Nation.
I saw that one.
Yeah, that got the U.S. Grand Jury Prize for Dramatic, and also the Audience Award for U.S. Dramatic. So keep an eye out for that one. It did get picked up for distribution, but I can't remember who picked it up. I think it was like Amazon. It seems like this year Amazon and Netflix picked up everything.
They bought everything.
We have I posted up an article because there were, rather than putting out one article for each thing that gets picked up, I decided to just consolidate everything down into one article. So if you go over to the site, under the festival section, you'll see I wrote one article that has a whole bunch of stuff that got picked up. So be sure to check that out. I'll just go over a couple of these. The Anthony Weiner documentary, Weiner, won the U.S. Grand Jury Prize for documentary. Let's see. The World Cinema Grand Jury Prize documentary went to Sunita. Who's the director of that? Oh, jeez. Not even gonna try. The World Cinema Grand Jury Prize Dramatic went to Sandstorm. It's an Israeli film.
Uh-huh.
And it was presented by your favorite guy, Pitchapong.
Pitchapong. All right.
How do you say his last name?
We rested the call.
There you go. The Audience Award U.S. documentary went to Jim, the James Foley Story, directed by Brian Oakes. Let's see. World Cinema Audience Award went to Sunita. So that's going to be one to look out for. Seeing if there are any other notable ones. Audience Award for the next program went to First Girl I Loved by Kareem Senga. We have the full list of the winners up on the site too, so you can check that out. The U.S. Documentary Special Jury Award for Editing went to Nuts, that documentary that I liked a whole lot, from Penny Lane. So
Nice.
yeah, Sundance 2016 seems like a decent one. There weren't anything that like really kind of blew everyone away. It seems like it was kind of an average year. I don't know. Just the impression that I got. I wasn't there, so
Yeah, that's true.
South by
It was
Southwest.
really low key.
It did seem like a low key year. South by Southwest, however, the feature film lineup was announced, and this has some ones that I'm really interested in. Quite a number. I don't know if you've seen this list. Have you looked at this?
I'm gonna look at it right now.
So some highlights, or some of the big premieres are including Richard Linklater's Everybody Wants Some, which is kind of the spiritual sequel to Dazed and Confused. The trailer for this doesn't make it look great, but I'll of course check it out. Cause...
You're in. You're already in.
Yeah, but have you seen the trailer for this? It doesn't look very good. It's like a college version of Dazed and Confused, but it wasn't that funny, but I don't know. I remember the Dazed and Confused trailer not being great either, so we'll see. Ty West's new film, In a Valley of Violence, is coming out. Excited about that.
Yeah.
Not a horror movie, from what I understand.
Okay.
Jeff Nichols' Midnight Special, that's the one with Michael Shannon, the superhero, or special powers one.
Yes.
Interested in that. There's a ton of movies that I'm interested in. A lot of the cool thing about South by Southwest is you have a really a really nice mix. There's a lot of, if you're into the American indies, like I feel like the movies that you've really been watching a lot of lately, Kevin, I feel like South by Southwest is kind of the venue for those movies.
Think?
I think
Maybe.
so.
Perhaps.
Mike Birbiglia's new one, Don't Think Twice, is coming out there. Clay Leaford's new one, Slash, is going to be premiering there. We featured that on a Kickstart Sunday a while back. Looks interesting. Linus Phillips has one coming out called Rainbow Time.
Rainbow Time?
Yeah.
Rainbow Time.
Any other
There it
ones
is.
that
Rainbow Time.
you want to highlight there?
I didn't really see anything so far.
Nothing you're interested in? John Michael McDonough's War on Everyone. That looks interesting.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see.
I'm interested in quite a few of these. I think
Yeah, I'm just kind of looking at titles and directors. I'm not really getting it.
a lot of unknowns come out of South by. Like there's a lot of movies and directors that are featured there are newcomers and just filmmakers that I've never heard of before. So
Yeah.
there looks like their episodic programming is just as big this year as it was last year. They just started doing the episodic stuff, I think, when we went for the first time. And then the following year, it was a little bit bigger, and I think it's been growing ever since then. This year, they're going to be premiering Outcast, which is the new Robert Kirkman show, directed by Adam Wingard, which I'm really excited about.
Yeah, and then you have Preacher.
And Preacher, too. Yep.
From Seth Rogen and Evan Goldberg. Vice Principals from Jody Hill.
Yep.
David Gordon Green.
Yeah, very excited about all of those. So I've read the Outcast comic book, and it is pretty fantastic. So very excited for that series. I think that show's going to be on Cinemax, but I'll be interested to see how that turns out. I think it's Cinemax. Maybe it's not. That's pretty much it. There were some new trailers that came out, but honestly nothing. The only one that I wanted to mention was Green Room got a new trailer, but I didn't watch it because I want to go into that completely cold.
I'm going blind.
Yeah, I'm really excited about that. The Cabin Fever remake got a trailer, but who cares about that?
Why is there a Cabin Fever remake?
I have no idea.
Oh, I just saw a trailer today that I don't understand. Now You See Me Too.
Oh, yeah.
What?
Yeah.
Why? Didn't that movie flop?
Evidently not. I mean, I know it wasn't very well received critically. I didn't like it. I know that. I thought it was ridiculous.
I don't know if I've ever met anyone that watched it.
I saw
besides
it.
you. I don't remember hearing anyone ever talk about that movie.
Well, they made a sequel. It's happening.
Wow.
One other thing that I'll briefly mention is that apparently there's going to be a Nicktoons movie, and Jared Hess is directing it.
That's bizarre.
Yeah.
As well.
There's not a whole lot of information about it yet, other than it's going to be kind of like a Who Framed Roger Rabbit style movie where all of the, not all, but a lot of the Nicktoons characters are going to be brought into it. So far it looks like characters from Rugrats, Ren and Stimpy, Rocko's Modern Life, All Real Monsters, and Angry Beavers will be in there.
Oh my god.
I'm sorry. I think
God.
that's amazing.
Oh my god.
I think that is possibly going to be incredible.
Oh man.
Ren and Stimpy.
That should be.
I just want to see Ren and Stimpy interacting with humans or characters from Rocko's Modern Life, or even All Real Monsters. That was a great show too.
Oh, I loved All Real Monsters.
Yeah, it sucks that Doug probably won't be in there because Doug is now owned by Disney.
Doug's too damn boring, anyways. Can't be with those heavyweights. What the fuck's Doug gonna do?
Oh my god. I still remember the lineup. It was Doug, followed by Rugrats, followed by Ren and Stimpy, and then later they added Rocko's Modern Life.
Good stuff right there.
And then Real Monsters, and then the Angry Beavers.
There's your golden age of television.
Yeah. Got that right. Nicktoons. What?
Oh my.
And Jared Hess directing it. That's an interesting choice. I think it's
It
a
is.
good choice. But we'll see how it turns out. I mean, I have no idea what that movie would, how, like, what the plot would be or anything.
I hope that there is no plot.
It's just them in a room. It's just them in a room having a conversation.
They're having a dinner party. That's all it is. This is a dinner party.
Mm.
They're just the camera walks around to different conversations. That's it.
Or it's just them at the DMV waiting to renew their licenses.
There you go.
And they're just sitting there waiting and talking.
I would watch that.
I would watch it too. All right, let's talk about some Hail Caesar here. This is going to be our only review for the day, but I feel like it's a big enough release that it could stand on its own merits here. So we have directors. This is directed by Joel and Ethan Coen, also written by Joel and Ethan Coen, stars Josh Brolin, George Clooney, Channing Tatum is in there, Ralph Fiennes, Scarlett Johansson, Tilda Swinton, Frances McDormand, Jonah Hill, Allison Pill's in there, Fisher Stevens. Heck yeah. Max Baker. I'm probably forgetting some people because there's a ton of people in this. I have a synopsis here. A Hollywood fixer in the 1950s works to keep the studio's stars in line. I'm going to start this one off if you don't mind, Kevin, because
Go for it.
This is the type of movie that's really kind of within my wheelhouse, I think.
This is all you.
You know, takes place in Hollywood in the 50s, and it deals with, crazy studio antics. And there's maybe a slight mystery at the beginning. I was hoping for a bit of more of a mystery as to why he was abducted and, what's going on with that. But I gotta say, I was a little disappointed in this movie. I liked it.
Oh my goodness.
I liked it. I didn't love it. Didn't love it.
Oh my.
It's weird. I can't really put my finger on what I didn't love about this movie. And I think it's just that there wasn't enough there. Like, it was funny, but there wasn't really anything that made me laugh out loud. And I felt like the storyline, while interesting, it just didn't really go anywhere interesting. And it was really goofy. I was kind of surprised at how kind of over the top silly it was. But I appreciate this, to me, this felt like kind of the Coens' love letter to old Hollywood, and kind of also taking the piss out of how ridiculous like the studio system used to be back in like the McCarthy era, when everybody was suspected of being a communist and stuff. And I like how it kind of tackled that and almost spoofed it in a way. But in the end, I just didn't find it to be that engaging. It felt kind of bland to me. Although the cinematography in this, the visuals, there were so many times in this where I thought to myself, oh man, that One Perfect Shot Twitter account is going to have a field day.
Yeah, especially like all the shots of the studio.
Yeah, I mean, there are so many scenes in this that you can just hit pause and take a screen grab, and it's going to look amazing.
Yeah, which I thought I did like that I enjoyed that. With you get to see the Coens doing like making a little Western movie, and then the Coens doing like the aquatic dancing movie.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you get to see him do like all these different kind of genres, and it's just unfortunately every time that they would do that, I'm thinking that movie looks more interesting. Can I be in that movie? Because the one that I'm currently in is I'm a lot like you, where I enjoyed myself. I didn't hate the movie, and I was entertained here and there. Couple decent chuckles from me. I didn't think it was overly hilarious or anything, and I enjoy myself for the most part for hour 45 minutes, whatever it is. But this is not sticking with me.
Yeah,
it's not memorable.
Yep.
It's not engaging, much like you said, mostly because I just didn't find Josh Brolin's character to be engaging, and we spend so much time with him when everyone else is far more interesting. And I wanted more of that. I wanted more of the antics.
I just didn't think that the kind of through line was the whole communist abduction thing. I didn't think that was very interesting. I mean, I liked that they were exploring that topic in Hollywood, and how it was the screenwriters and all of that stuff. I kind of liked that, but I just didn't think it was that interesting. It didn't really grab me.
There was some good comedy in there because I did love how George Clooney character just kind of like buys in right off the
right
bat.
away. Yeah,
he kind of doesn't really understand it wholeheartly.
No.
He tailors it to his needs, but he's on board.
Yeah.
But yeah, honestly, it just came down to I just didn't find it that funny.
Yeah, I didn't either. It's unfortunate. There were a fair number of musical numbers in this. I think that this is almost considered I don't know. It's borderline a musical.
It's close.
I don't know if it'd be considered
one of the genres
or not.
that they spoof on it.
Yeah,
in the musical.
There are a fair number of musical numbers. The only one I really liked was the Channing Tatum one, just because I just liked the choreography in that.
And it is just, their whole idea of, sneaking their messages in.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
And when he's trying to leave, and he gets stuck between the two guys.
Oh, yeah. That was funny.
That was... Gotta chuckle. The only thing that I found really funny was when Mannix and I can't remember who the other guy was, if he was like what department he was in, but when they were talking about Scarlett Johansson's character giving her baby up and then adopting her back. And that would just ends how the guy's like, this is exciting.
Yeah. Yeah. That was funny. I like the idea of a film taking place in 50s Hollywood, and it's, about a fixer who just goes around fixing the problems within the studio, and how it begins with him going in and pulling this actress out of some kind of weird photo shoot situation. And I was kind of hoping that it was basically going to be like Ray Donovan, but in the 50s.
50s Hollywood.
Yeah, 50s Hollywood Ray Donovan. Because I think that's cool. That's almost going back to how LA Confidential was.
Well, if you think about it, that's a perfect TV show right there.
Oh, yeah.
1950s Hollywood, just a fixer for a studio.
Yeah.
I mean, because you could have that sucker going for seasons.
And this movie sets that up. It sets it up really nicely because it's very fast. Like, he's running around. He's always looking at the time, He's got a million things he's got to do. He's got meetings. He's got all this stuff going on. It's a very fast movie. The dialogue's very quick. The scene, the scenes jump from scene to scene very quickly. But the thing is, there's only a few of these things that he's actually fixing, really. I mean, the George Clooney thing is the big one. And then, the Scarlett Johansson thing is just such a small part of it that resolves itself without really him doing anything other than making that one suggestion.
Which I do love that, Jonah Hill's on a poster.
Yeah, he's literally in it for one scene, folks. Literally one scene. And you see that scene in the trailer.
Yeah. What? Oh my God. Are you serious?
Yeah. Yeah. I wanted more of him because he was funny.
I did enjoy him. Yeah.
I liked I just remembered because there was one scene that I thought was funny that I couldn't even remember what it was, but it was the scene with Ralph Fiennes and
when he kept repeating the line over and over and over and over again.
I thought that was funny. Him and Alden, what's his name?
I'm Ehrenreich. I think it's Ehrenreich.
Ehrenreich? Alden Ehrenreich?
I think,
Hobie Doyle?
Hobie Doyle.
I liked the character of Hobie Doyle.
I liked Hobie Doyle.
I thought he was funny.
And when we're first introduced to him and he's shooting that western.
Yeah.
I want to watch that western.
Yeah, that was crazy.
That looks fun. That was a fun ass western, man. I want to see that. Plus, man, he knows his way around some spaghetti.
That was a little ridiculous.
It was ridiculous, but it worked.
Yeah.
I could have definitely used it. Should have just been Hobie Doyle. Should have been the main character. him just trying to make it in Hollywood
I did want more of that.
because he's just such a nice guy.
I did like that
He's trying so hard.
Yeah. I just like the squeaking shoe. How his shoe was squeaking nonstop. Oh, man.
It should have been. I wish there was more of that type of humor in there, because that's when I think the Coen brothers are at their best.
Yeah.
When it's just the small stuff like that, it's just really awkward.
Mm-hmm. Just the really dry, small kind of things that are almost happening in the periphery that there's no attention drawn to them. It's happening.
It's just, but no, we get Mannix trying to decide if he wants to go to Lockheed.
Yeah, I didn't. That storyline was not that.
I mean, I'll say that I appreciate the way that they kind of tie it together.
Sure.
With
the
whole
H-bomb thing.
And with the whole communism thing, and then the speech that Clooney gives at the end, and just how completely clueless they are to their message that they're sending.
Mm-hmm.
I did like that, but it's just not enough.
I feel like that there were so many beginnings of ideas here and characters that were just, but none of it was developed enough to make it feel like a complete cohesive story. Like if this was a TV show, like you said, they would have enough time to develop all of these storylines and all of these characters, and I think that it would have worked a lot better. Like Tilda Swinton's characters of Thora and Thessaly Thacker.
Yeah.
Like they're what is the point of those? I mean, I get that they're representing the kind of, tabloid, the Hollywood rags of the 50s, and I appreciate that, but why, bringing in the whole twin thing and having people be confused about which one is which and all of that. Like, it's kind of a funny gag, but it just doesn't go anywhere, and I feel like they spend time with that when they could have spent time with, trying to develop one of these other dangling, plots that get introduced.
Yeah, it's just there's some pretty substantial stretches of Hail Caesar that just felt really flat to me.
Yeah,
as well. Just like it, none of the comedy was working for me, and there was probably the parts that were probably the flattest when it was just Josh Brolin's character. I just really didn't like Josh Brolin's character.
I think what we're kind of uncovering here is that you just really didn't like Josh Brolin's character.
Hail Caesar sans Josh Brolin is great. Loved it. Hail Caesar predominantly featuring Josh Brolin, not such a big fan.
Well, the problem with Josh Brolin's character is that he's kind of inherently flat. Like he has no personality. He's just he's basically like a studio. He's just a stooge for the studio that just gets shit done. And I think that Josh Brolin is the perfect actor to play, that type of role. He's similar to like a detective in a noir or something, where he's this kind of hard-boiled cop, no nonsense, getting shit done. And I appreciate that, but when you're having him as the main character, and then he's surrounded by all of these really bright, colorful, full of life people that are really interesting and unique in their own way, it does kind of bring his character down a few pegs.
Yeah, but I will say they got some Walthams in there. Get some Waltham watches.
I saw your tweet about that.
Yeah, I have that same watch.
That's cool.
I was tickled pink.
Nice.
Just took a look at him and I was just like, ha, yeah.
Was that the same watch that Brolin also was using?
No, Brolin has a different watch. He has that is
it the same?
He has that hex case. Yeah, they're both Walthams.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's what I was. Must have been some sort of brand deal because they show that watch a whole bunch.
Well, they were big back then.
Were they?
They were one of the biggest U.S. watch manufacturers.
Let's talk a little bit more about the visuals, because I think that was going into it. I was kind of, at first, I was like, I don't know if I'm going to be into this, because it looked, from the trailers, it looked like it was going to have this kind of old visual style to it. It was going to look old, and when the movie started, I was like, it looks new. Like when they first showed the footage of Hail Caesar, it looked like a new movie. It didn't look like an old movie. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But they kind of made up for it. I feel like all of the set design, the costumes, everything I thought were pretty on point.
Well, yeah, and that was for me. That's the most interesting thing about this movie. It's just fun to see, essentially like little short films of the Coen brothers and Deakins doing different genres,
Right.
50s style. Which you could have just made it that. It could have just been an hour and a half of just little short films of them doing different genres without Josh Brolin, and I probably would have liked it more. The main point is no Josh Brolin. Yeah, I can't stress that enough. Get Josh Brolin out of there. Nothing against Josh Brolin, just the character.
I was a huge fan of Bert Gurney's house. I thought his house looked awesome.
He's got great taste.
Bert Gurney. Oh, there's some great character names in this.
There is.
They all might be the best. They all sound exactly like how you would imagine those characters being. CeCe Calhoun.
I enjoyed that scene, but that scene didn't need to be there.
Yeah, it was.
I mean, it was nice to come back to the scene that Hobie Doyle was working on, and then you see where they ended up.
Yeah.
But
I don't know. Maybe that was just a nod to the fact that women working as editors have been prominent since the early days of Hollywood, and their skill and their craft has always been completely kept in the dark, so to speak.
Really?
Yeah.
I don't know. I wanted to like it more. I still want to like it more. But I will tell you that it made me... I mean, I probably have to go back and revisit it, because it wasn't that big one inside Llewyn Davis, right? I wasn't a big fan of that one. But coming out of Hail Caesar, I'm thinking, man, that was like leaps and bounds, quality-wise. Leaps and bounds over Hail Caesar. And it was funnier, too. Mm-hmm. So maybe I actually like that one more. I'll have to revisit it.
Yeah,
I think it's about time.
Yeah. As far as the ranking the Coen's movies, this is probably pretty low on my list, actually.
I think another part of it too is maybe the expectations got up
there
a little bit, because I did hear some things, that it was like, oh, this is just Coen brothers being fun and goofy and doing comedy. It's like, oh brother, where art thou? Yeah. It's like Raising Arizona. Oh my God, it's just straight up comedy. And I was like, oh man, they're doing 50s Hollywood too? This is going to be perfect.
Yeah, I had very high expectations, and that could have been part of the problem for sure. I mean, we have a review for it up on the site. Blake gave it an 8 out of 10. He liked it a lot. And I was expecting from the trailers, more of an Oh Brother, Where Art Thou vibe. I fully expected that going into it. I knew it was going to be kind of goofy. And I knew that there were going to be like a lot of musical numbers and stuff in it, but I don't know. It just didn't. The comedy really didn't work for me. I don't know. I wanted more. I wanted more of the old Hollywood vibe. I just wanted more of that. I wanted more of the storylines. Maybe have some of the side plots be a little bit more developed. But in the end, I just didn't find the whole Baird Whitlock thing that interesting, because it's not that interesting, I don't think.
Yeah,
like the whole kidnapping thing is such a small... Like, you find out who kidnapped him within 5 minutes of him being kidnapped.
Yeah,
it's not like
there's really no mystery to it. And then even once you find out who it is, so you have that mystery is gone. And then, you're left with, okay, well, what's the reasoning? Well, that mystery's cleared up in, the next couple of minutes.
And it seems
there's just really nothing to it. Like, from that point on, it's just hanging out until it's the end of the movie.
Yeah. I don't know. For me, it was just a misstep. There were parts of it that I liked a lot. I mean, I liked the visuals. I liked everything as far as the aesthetic. And I liked a lot of the side characters. But overall, as far as the narrative, it just didn't wow me. I just felt a little meh at the end. Yeah. And at this point, I'm realizing that I just saw this last night, and there's already things that I'm forgetting about it.
It reminded me a lot of Burn After Reading. I have like the same feeling towards it. I was like, it made me chuckle. I enjoyed myself while I was watching it. Yada yada yada. But it's not sticking with me. It's not going to stick with me. I'm not going to be gushing about this movie and telling people to run out and see it. I'm not going to be walking up to, people at work, be like, oh shit, did you see Hail Caesar? Did you check out Hail Caesar this weekend? Dude, you got to see it.
Or Intolerable Cruelty.
Yeah, I'm just completely indifferent to if you go and see this or not. And if you like it, great. If you don't, fine. Like, I couldn't care less.
Yeah, unfortunately, that's kind of how I'm sitting with it, too. All right, let's go ahead and give Hail Caesar a score. I will say a 6 out of 10 on this one.
I'm going to say a 6 as well.
There you have it. Hail Caesar in theaters now. All right, let's go ahead and talk about some of what we've been watching. I don't remember, because we didn't record last week, so I don't remember who started last time. So we'll just start with you, Kevin.
Start with me.
Yeah, why not?
Fine. All right. I did another unsung indie. Got one of them up there, so you can read that. You Won't Miss Me, 2009, Rai Russo Young. Which, wow, this film is great. I was blown away by this one, and it's interesting because she went on to make Nobody Walks, which I haven't seen. But just by the look of it, checking it out, the trailer, checking out IMDb and stuff, it just feels like a very bizarre turn in a way. I don't know. Maybe I'll have to check it out, but I'm not really looking forward to checking that one out. But this one, You Won't Miss Me. Number one, you got Stella Schnabel, who gives an unbelievable performance in this movie. And it's got everything that you would expect from an indie, because it's got the old 16 millimeter. It's got the Super 8 footage in there. It's got HD, even using a flip phone certain points in time. A little bit of everything. All sorts of film formats. Okay? Got it all. And then they weave it all together. And it's just, it centers around her and she's essentially released from a mental institution because she doesn't meet the criteria to be there. So, and the guy's telling her, you got to do therapy. Therapy's going to help you, right? Got to get that therapy. So in turn, the film itself becomes the therapy, and that's how she works through it. So it's like a therapy session film type thing going on here, and it's wonderful. So definitely check that one out. I saw this on Fandor. It's one of the best out of all the ones that I've seen so far. This is near the top.
Wow.
Of the American Indies. This is up there.
Strong recommendation. You gave this a 9.5 out of 10 on the site.
Yeah, and you know what? I don't know why. I probably should have went 10.
Wow.
Probably should have went 10. It's just one of those things where you're a little hesitant to be thrown out 10.
It's always hard. Like you never want to dole out that 10 right off the bat.
You don't want to, but at the same time, when I'm thinking about the movie and I'm trying to think of, okay, what are the negatives that are keeping it from being a 10? Because there's so much I like about it, right? So what's keeping it from being a 10?
Right.
And when I'm thinking about it, I'm not really coming up with a lot. I'm not really coming up with anything. So then my reasoning is it probably should be a 10 then. You can't back it up.
Right. Yeah, if you can't come up with anything wrong with it.
Exactly. So I think the moral of the story is don't trust me. I think that's what we found out here.
There you go.
Keep that in mind.
I saw Contamination from 1980. This is directed by Luigi Cozzi.
All right.
This is
it's a good start here.
Kind of a science fiction horror movie. It starts off with a ship making its way to Hudson Bay Harbor, and they're not getting any notification on the radio from the ship. Nobody's responding, but it's barreling towards the harbor. So they go ahead and they board the ship. They stop it, and they find that everybody on the ship's dead, and it looks like they've been turned inside out, pretty much. They've like exploded. So they explore a little bit, and they find these coffee crates that have these green eggs in them. And as it turns out, when the eggs get heated up, because there's like one egg that kind of rolled out of the box, out of the crate, and ended up underneath a pipe that was like a steam pipe. and there was like a hot water pipe, and it kind of ripened, and one of the people that was exploring picked it up, and the egg exploded, and
Oh,
got on the guy. And like, what happens when you get the egg goop on you is that you essentially just immediately explode. Your
are you serious?
yeah, like your stomach explodes.
What?
It's sort of a play on the alien thing. I mean, clearly it's an Alien ripoff. The eggs look similar, but not similar enough to get sued to the eggs in Alien. And
Just flirting with it.
yeah, and you're essentially, what happens is your chest explodes, sort of like a chest burster thing. But in this movie, it's so much more violent and horrific because there's so much force behind.
I was really hoping that you would say that.
Yeah, but there's like no rhyme or reason to why it happens. You just explode. There's no like alien coming out of you or anything. So basically, it's about these three people, this government agent, this former astronaut, and this cop who head to South America to try to track down the coffee company that had these eggs and figure out, where the eggs came from and what their plan was, because it seemed like they were going to try to distribute them throughout the city and kill a lot of people for some reason.
Yeah.
And it kind of goes on from there. It's pretty fun. It's really cheesy, but it is it's really, really gory when the eggs hit you. The special effects work it doesn't look good, but it's really fun. And there's a scene where they try, because the coffee company finds out that they're there investigating, so they try to kill the woman, and they do so by they sneak into her hotel room and they put one of the eggs in her bathroom while she's taking a shower. So she like gets out of the shower and she sees that the egg's there. She starts freaking out, but they lock the door from the outside so she can't get out. And it's like,
Yes.
Why wouldn't you just put your towel over top of it so that if it explodes, it's not going to get on you? Or if you're somebody trying to kill her, you were already in the bathroom. Why don't you just shoot her? Like, why go through the trouble of putting the egg there and hoping that it ripens and explodes?
Think about this. You're someone. I would imagine that these guys maybe killed before.
Yeah.
Like maybe that's their job. They're hitmen, something like that, assassins, whatever you want to say.
Sort of.
When you acquire a new way in which to kill someone,
yes, you want to use it.
You got to try and use it any chance you get,
right?
Because using the guns and the knives and shit, it's got to get old after a while. True. You get alien eggs, I want to see how this plays out.
It's just like in a video game when you unlock a new weapon, you want to use that weapon.
Well, and also you need practice. If this is going to be the future,
yeah, you got to get the timing right. Yeah,
you got to get in early, and then that way you have the expertise. When it comes around to everyone's being killed with alien eggs, you're at the top. Like, man, I've been working with these things for years. I know inside and out. I know everything about them. That's what they're doing. They're smart.
That's true.
See?
Either way, it was ridiculous. The entire scene was ridiculous. But it was probably one of the more fun scenes. There's some really crazy shit that happens near the end. I don't know if it'd be like a spoiler to talk about it, but
it's from 1980.
Let's just say that there's some aliens. There's something that's laying these eggs, and it looks utterly ridiculous, and it eats people. But it's like it does it in a really funny way. It like slowly sucks them in because it's just this like really fat. It's like this really fat blob that has two sets of lips, and it just looks so. And it's got this one glowing eye that has the ability of like hypnotizing you. It's so silly.
One second. I just want to see real quick if I can find a picture of it.
Oh, you probably can. It's like really slimy and green, and if you type in Contamination film 1980 on Google image search, on the second row. The second to last one, or at least it's on the second row on mine. It's like a glowing yellow eye with like a frowny face. It's like,
yes,
that's what it looks like.
Fantastic.
Yeah,
that looks like fun.
Yeah, it's a kind of a ridiculous alien ripoff, but it's enjoyable.
Gotta get that 80s schlock.
Yep, and that's Contamination.
Contamination. Perfect segue to my next film, which was an Antonioni from 1970. It's not, but let's work with it.
Let's do it.
Zabriskie Point from 1970. This is the second film that he made for the studio system for MGM, I think it was. Oh man, it's hippies. It's about hippies.
Hippies doing their thing.
Hippies doing their thing. Oh, and you know what hippies do?
Yeah.
They don't do anything.
Smoke reefer.
They smoke some grass, and they just say things that mean nothing. So a lot of that is what's going on in this one. There's really nothing going on narratively speaking, which can be said for a lot of Antonioni films, but this one more so than any of his other films I've ever seen. I mean, there's just nothing going on. The large majority of this is one of the guys steals a plane from the airport. Just walks in, just out on the tarmac, hops in a plane. Guy waves him down. It's like, hey, what are you doing? He's like, I'm flying a plane. He's like, all right, see you later. He just takes it. So that's where airport security was back in 1970. So it's just like extended footage of him flying, right? Just him flying. And then at the same time, there's this other girl that's going out to Arizona to meet her boss for something. So she's just driving around. So there's extended sequences of her just driving, coming up to like a stop sign. She's checking her map and then turns. And it's just her driving. So then later out in the desert, he's flying his plane. She's driving a car. So he starts doing these flybys, just flying down real close, coming straight at her and stuff. Like that goes on for what feels like 45 minutes. It's like he does this like 15, 16 times, just keeps flying past her. So that's forever, right? Then he finally comes down. They get together. They go to Zabriskie Point, lowest place in the U.S., barren lake beds and whatnot. So they go down, smoke a joint, say some stupid shit. And then there's this like interpretive orgy scene, right? Where they make love, and then there's a whole bunch of like 100 other hippies like rolling around, but they're not actually having sex. They're just kind of like rolling around and like play fighting and shit. And that honestly goes on for what feels like an hour and a half. It just goes on and on and on, and it's just the same thing over and over again. Like he doesn't mix it up visually or anything. So that happens forever, and then they're done. And he goes back, gets his plane. He's like, see you later, I'm taking the plane back. She's like, all right, I'm driving out to the thing. So again, it's just him flying and her driving just for like another hour. I mean, it's just, oh my God. But the thing is, things get really interested at the end because it just goes like full on experimental with this like badass Pink Floyd song and just slow-mo blowing shit up, which looks amazing. And it's just fantastic. So that's amazing. A lot of the visuals, the cinematography, the framing throughout like the beginning when they're in California looks great. It looks amazing. It's just, it's rough to get behind it because there's nothing happening at all. It is so, its themes are so flimsy and thin. It's kind of a waste of time, except for the visuals.
All right. And that's Zabriskie Point.
Zabriskie Point. Getting on. I got on the Letterboxd and there's like 5 stars. 5 stars. 5 stars.
I don't get that about some movies.
This is one of them. Again, this is one I don't understand.
I saw Don't Torture a Duckling from 1972, directed by Lucio Fulci. This is one a lot of people like too, and I wasn't that enamored by it.
What's the name again?
Don't Torture a Duckling.
Okay.
It's got the worst cover. It looks like one of those really terrible 90s no-budget horror movies that was shot on VHS. That's what it looks like. It's just
oh my goodness.
It's the worst cover I've ever seen, and somebody needs to release this movie with a proper cover because it's terrible.
Made that. Someone had to make that.
I've seen it. See, the problem is, I've seen that cover more than just on Letterboxd, though. That cover is all over the place.
Oh, that's not good.
It's so bad. Anyway, the movie itself, it's fine. It's not really. It's kind of a giallo, but it's not really though. It's kind of before the whole giallo craze really took hold. So a lot of the tropes or notable visual cues that one might categorize a film as a giallo. They're not really here, but it is a mystery. So it fits that. A lot of it takes place in the Italian countryside. Basically, what's happening in the film is someone's murdering young boys, and the townsfolk think that they find the woman that is responsible, so they kill her in public. But as it turns out, she's not the one who did it. So there's just red herring after red herring, which is pretty typical of these types of movies. And then you find out who did it, and there's like kind of a showdown at the end, and then the person dies in an absolutely hilarious, unintentionally hilarious manner. He falls off a cliff, and it's so funny because the scene is so long, and they do these close-ups of like his face scraping against the rocks on the way down, but it is so clearly the worst dummy you've ever seen.
Yes.
But it's not like his face scrapes it. It's like that they add like little explosions. Like they made his head a balloon or something, so every time it hits, there's like an explosion coming off of his face. And so his face just explodes over and over.
That sounds amazing.
Yeah, so basically, after they kill the woman who they think is responsible, and then they find out that the murders are still happening, there's a reporter and this former drug addict / I think she's a model. They kind of decide to go out and find out who the real killer is, because apparently the cops are just they can't they're just inept, I guess. And they find out who did it, and that's pretty much it. It's entertaining. I haven't seen a lot of Fulci's movies. In fact, I think this is only I've only seen 4 of his movies. So as far as that goes, like as far as his movies go, a lot of people say that like, this is one of his best ones, but I don't agree with that necessarily. But it's fine. It's, I guess, a light recommend.
I have one that I do not recommend, and that's V for Vendetta. 2005, which I didn't realize that it was that old.
Yeah.
And it shows when you're watching it, because it looks old as shit. Honestly, I was thinking about this movie after I watched it, and I was just trying to think of something positive to say about it. Like, I thought there had to be at least something that I liked about this movie. Even if it's small, minor. There was nothing. I liked absolutely nothing about this movie. Number one, visually, it's like the equivalent of grape nuts. There's just fucking nothing going on. I thought it was going to at least be like visually interesting. It's not. It is unbelievably boring. There's nothing to this movie visually. CGI blood, some of the worst I've ever seen. Just the absolute worst. It's so shiny and bright red. Ugh.
You should check out this guy's other movie, Ninja Assassin. You want to see some horrible CGI blood? Check out Ninja Assassin.
It's just, well, the worst part is there's the final. Well, this is the other thing. There's not that much action in this damn movie.
No, there's not.
Like 3 scenes. And another thing, this movie's like 2.5 hours long. What the fuck? Why is it 2.5 hours long? There's no need for it. Especially if you only have 3 action sequences, and 2 of them last like 4-5 minutes tops. So you have the one at the end, which takes place underground in like the abandoned tube station, where it's like all wet and damp, and there's no light, and he's slicing people up with his daggers because he's a superhero with daggers. How boring is that? And he's doing it in slow motion. They have like the trails coming off of his blades. Someone thought that was a cool idea. And when he slices people and the CG blood comes out, and it comes out terribly, there's like they didn't put a lot of thought into it. Like it doesn't come out the way that it should by the laws of physics. This just like kind of appears, and you're like, well, that doesn't make any sense. But when it comes out, it's like super bright red. It's like really shiny, and you're like, there's no light. Why the hell is the blood so shiny?
What's it
the hell are you guys
off of?
What's going on? This is not what blood looks like. And the worst thing out of everything, I guess to add insult to injury, I should say, the screenplay that you're dealing with here is written on like a fourth grade level. It is it is terrible. This movie is so damn simple. It was rough. I did not like this one bit.
Mm.
No, nothing's good. And then you got Natalie Portman doing a British accent for some reason. Like she just couldn't be an American living in London. We couldn't just do that.
Apparently not.
Because there's a couple of lines that she delivers, and they just sound awful.
I don't remember. I remember when this movie first came out. I liked it, but I remember so little of it. It's been years since I've rewatched it.
Well, don't rewatch it. Keep that memory. Don't tarnish that memory, Adam.
Okay, all right. So that's V for Vendetta. I saw one called Amer. I don't know how to properly pronounce it, but it's Amer. Amer.
Oh, by the people that did The Strange Color of Your Body's Tears.
Yeah. So this is one that I picked from my 52 films by women. I decided that my list is going to be definitely. I'm going to try to pick different things. Like I'm not going to go by the list on the website. I mean, there might be some crossover that's unintentional, but I'm going to try to really go for some kind of out there picks. Yeah,
that's exactly what you should do.
Yeah.
I applaud that decision.
And I also am not gonna rewatch anything. Like all of them are gonna be first time watches.
Nice.
Because I feel like rewatching is a cop out, especially if it's like a movie you already know and like. Yeah. And B, I don't log rewatches on Letterboxd, so it's gonna be more difficult for me to keep track of them. So
that makes sense.
Those are the two reasons they're all gonna be first time watches. So this came out in 2009. It's directed by Helene Catet and Bruno Verzani. It's a kind of another. I'm just realizing that I've had a really Italian week here.
Yeah, you did.
Well, that was my goal for 2016. I'm gonna really crank out the Italian films, the Italian exploitation and horror films this year. Anyway. This is a really interesting one. This one, you should check this one out, Kevin. Visuals in this one are off the freaking chart. Unbelievable. Yes. This movie is gorgeous. Holy crap. I can't speak highly enough of how this movie looks. They completely nailed the aesthetic of the kind of the 70s Italian film. Oh my god, it is so amazing. I can't even. And the sound design in this too is out of control. Whoever's the sound editing, it's on another level. It is so good. Like I can't speak highly enough of those two aspects. The plot, the story itself, it's not great. Which is really disappointing because the entire first act of this, I was like, holy crap, where has this movie been all my life? It's amazing, 10 out of 10. But then it really dropped for me in the second act because it's basically presented in three different sections. There's three segments. They all follow this woman named Anna, and the first segment is an experience she had when she was a little girl. The next one, she was a teenager, and then the final one, she's an adult. And they all kind of revolve around her having a sensual experience, not an overt sexual experience, but something that kind of evokes those emotions in her, or that like kind of physiological response. Yeah. And the first one's probably the best one. It feels more like kind of a gothic horror story. Felt like more of a Mario Bava film to me, like an earlier Bava film. Yeah. And basically she sees her parents having sex and it kind of really fucks her up, but there's a lot more to it than that. And then after that it gets really, really trippy. Like she starts having these kind of crazy fantasies and dreams, and there's just colors everywhere. It gets very surreal. And then the second one is more like, and this is, I can't say this for certain, but this is from what I read, that it was kind of inspired by the films of Jess Franco. I haven't seen any Jess Franco films, so I don't really.
Yeah, that's one that I want to.
Yeah, I'm hoping to see a couple of his films this year, especially because when Duke of Burgundy came out, apparently that was heavily inspired by Jess Franco films as well. And so the second one is basically about this kind of encounter she has with this biker gang when she's a teenager. I liked it. I mean, I thought that was the weakest of the three segments. And then the final one, when she's an adult, is more of like an Argento, where there's kind of a killer stalking her. And man, I have yet to see The Strange Color of Your Body's Tears, but I mean, it's been on my watch list forever. I just haven't gotten around to watching it. I know I'm gonna like it, but
you're gonna love it.
But this one, like this movie, completely solidifies it for me that I absolutely have to see it, because this movie's just out of control. It is just so, it's exactly in line with like the kind of mindset that I'm in right now, the kind of movies that I'm watching.
I can't wait to see this then.
Yeah, it is absolutely worth a look. Just pure visuals and sound alone. You'll just be like, holy shit. I mean, the movie itself is just, it's whatever, which is really unfortunate because it starts off really strong, but it does fizzle out. And the finale is very hard to watch even for me, and I've seen a lot of really hard, really tough stuff to watch in movies. This is really, really disturbing, the finale. So just to warn you about that, it's tough to watch. But yeah, that's Amer, and highly recommend checking that one out.
Okay, I watched something that just recently popped up on Netflix Instant, and that's Charlie's Country from 2013. Been wanting to see
Not
this
to be
thing
confused with Charlie Countryman.
Yes, yeah, they are very different, very, very different films. I've been excited for this one for a while. Been wanting to see it for a while. Finally popped up on Netflix Instant. Jump into it. Pretty solid film for the most part. Acting's good. Cinematography, serviceable. There's an interesting thing with this. So it's about an Aborigine in Australia living on his community, and he's kind of getting sick and tired of the white man, and he leaves the community and starts living out in the bush. And at first everything's going great, but then of course some things happen, and then it goes on from there and has all these different experiences. And the thing that irritated me, and it irritated my wife, and she actually pointed it out first, because I couldn't quite put my finger on it, what was kind of pissing me off. And she pointed it out to me. There's this like piano music that plays throughout this damn film. I mean, just incessant. Pops up all the time.
Yeah.
Like the same kind of piece just over and over and over again. And it's really sad and pathetic, like it's trying to evoke pity from you. And at first it's not too bad. It's like, oh, okay, the piano. But they keep repeating it over and over and over again. And it gets to the point where it shows up like perfectly on beat. Like as soon as the main character, Charlie, as soon as just a bit of sadness washes over his face, just the dinging of that shitty piano just right on cue just starts playing. And it soundtracks everything. He'll just be walking around kind of sad, and it just keeps playing and playing. And it is awful. It's so terrible. And it really, really ruins the movie. Because if you didn't have that, it would be fine. I'd be completely into this movie. And the thing that pisses me off even more is at the end, Charlie comes around and he's going to teach the young kids of the community how to do the traditional dances of his tribe. And and a big thing is that like throughout everything, the hardships that he's having and stuff, is that he has, at one point in time, he was there for the opening of the Opera House in Sydney, and he danced for the Queen of England because he's like one of the best dancers. So that's like his source of pride. So at the end, he finally comes around. He's like, I'm going to teach these kids how to do the dance and everything. So it kind of ends with him teaching and then playing the didgeridoo and doing the dance and everything. And the music is just, it's unbelievable. And it just pissed me off so much that at the end, I finally get a taste of that, like real music. And it's like, you could have been playing that the entire time, or variations of it, instead of that shitty, sad piano that you played for the first hour and 30 minutes. Why?
It sucks. I hate it when music brings a movie down. It's always so unfortunate when that happens.
Because it just takes over. I mean, it's worse than like a Hans Zimmer score. Because it's like, hey, by the way, you're supposed to be sad right now. And it's like, yes, clearly, everything that's happening right now is sad. I don't need a shitty piano telling me that I should feel sad. I know how emotions work. And they just keep doing it over and over and over again. And it just gets annoying after a while.
I have a couple rewatches that I can briefly mention. I rewatched Scream by Wes Craven.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, rewatched. It's been years. Been years since I rewatched Scream. I was sick last weekend. It's one of the reasons we didn't record that, along with the fact that nothing came out. So yeah, I rewatched a bunch of movies, and Scream was one of them. Holds up, man. I mean, it certainly looks dated because it's certainly a film of its time. Like, they talk about cellular phones in it. And just the emerging technologies when that came out, it was just interesting to watch. But it's still a really fun slasher movie, and I still really enjoyed it. I also rewatched Scott Pilgrim versus the World.
Yeah,
that holds up too. I think this is probably the third time I've seen Scott Pilgrim, and every time I watch it, I like it a little bit more. There are so many nuanced lines and jokes and references in that movie that it just gets better on a rewatch, because you pick up like one little throwaway line or just sound effect or little thing in the background or something that you didn't catch before, and it just adds so much. I mean, it's all those little things that add so much depth to that movie, and it's just, I don't understand why it wasn't more successful, because it's so good. I do not get it. That movie is incredible. If you haven't seen Scott Pilgrim versus the World, check it out. Did you see that?
Yeah. I did enjoy that.
Yeah, I thought you saw it.
Watched that one too. A while since that one.
That's really all I wanted to mention.
All right. Well, we did it.
Okay. Cool.
Good work. Good work.
All right, let's talk about some predictions. So we got a bunch of them since we didn't record last week. We have the prior week's predictions to go over. So Kung Fu Panda 3, you said 40, I said 58, actual 80. Yeah, that one beat out Hail Caesar this weekend at the box office.
Oh.
I mean, I guess it's not that surprising, but Jane Got a Gun, you said 30, I said 28, actual 34. Yeesh. It sounds like they should have just scrapped it. Like, after they started having all those issues with it,
yeah,
I think they probably should have just scrapped it. The Finest Hours, you said 12, I said 12.
What?
I said 46, actual 59.
Oh, that's way too high.
One of the theater that I went to see Hail Caesar in last night was playing Finest Hours right next to my theater, and I kept hearing the Finest Hours.
Oh, I hate when that happens.
In the next theater, it was bothering the shit out of me.
Yeah, people should put a little more thought into that. Like, because there's a number of times where I'll go and you're seeing kind of like a quiet drama or something like that.
You
like
just hear this
comedy.
loud booming next door.
Yeah, and they put it next to like a superhero movie. And so all you hear is explosions and shit. It's like, come on, you could have looked forethought here.
Yeah. 50 Shades of Black, you said 27, I said 4, actual 7.
Nice.
Big surprise there. All right. Hail Caesar, we didn't predict these, but I'll just read off the numbers. Hail Caesar has a 79%. The Choice came out, and the old Nicholas Sparks, that has an 8. And Pride and Prejudice and Zombies, 41.
Yeah.
No desire to see that. None whatsoever. Blake saw that, and he said it's very boring, which is the reason that I couldn't get through the book, because it was so boring. But at least it sounds like they adapted the book properly. Like, it is basically Pride and Prejudice, and they just kind of fit zombies in to different places.
Yeah.
It's not simply the characters. It's not just the characters, put into it. It actually follows the Pride and Prejudice story, which I think, for me is definitely a hindrance, because come on.
And just inject zombies here and there.
Yeah.
Wherever there's a lull.
Yeah.
Wherever there's an opportunity to put
basically everywhere.
So it should just be zombies nonstop.
Right. Next week we have Deadpool. This one I'm I don't really know how to predict this one because it really could go either way. I think that the whole R-rated superhero thing, it's interesting because while we haven't seen a lot of that style, like R-rated superheroes, there's not that many of them out there yet. I feel like it's over. Like I feel like it's already kind of feeling stale. And I don't know why that is because really there's only like Kick-Ass. If you want to include Kingsman in that, it's not really superhero, but there's some kind of fantastical stuff and it's based on a comic book. And then that James Gunn one, Super. Was it called Super?
Yeah.
The one with Rainn Wilson. And I didn't like that one at all. But I do like the character of Deadpool. I can't read the comics. The comics are way too grating, so I don't know how the movie's gonna be. But I'm anxious to see it. I think I'm hoping that it'll be good. It currently has a 96%. The embargo just lifted yesterday for this, and it's currently sitting at a 96%. What do you think? How do you think about Deadpool?
I don't want any part of it.
Okay, what are you gonna say?
It just doesn't look good to me. It's not my cup of tea.
Cup of tea.
Not my cup of tea. It's at a 96 right now.
Yeah, but I'm sure that'll drop.
Yeah, I'm gonna say 77.
All right. I'll go ahead and say. See, I didn't see. I should have looked to see how many reviews are in because that'd give me a good idea. I'll say 68. Okay. We also have How to Be Single, to screwball comedy.
Thank goodness.
I think Rebel Wilson is in that.
Being subjected to those obnoxious trailers.
Yeah. I'll say 36 on this one.
6. I'll say 42.
All right. And Zoolander 2 comes out.
Why? Why does it come out?
I don't know. I do not know.
20. Was it my turn?
Sure.
20.
All right. I'll say 38 on Zoolander 2.
Zoolander.
How long has it been since? It's been like 12,
it's been like
12 years?
I think it's... I was going to say like 30.
30. Came out when, like the year we were born.
Yeah. No, in 83? It came out in 83.
Sure, why not? I don't know what to think about Zoolander 2 either. It's
going to be terrible.
I feel like it's been a really long time since we've had that style of comedy. You know, the classic Stiller comedy.
Yeah.
I feel like nowadays it's all been like Apatow was big there for a while, and now we're kind of. I feel like we're kind of on the tail end of the Seth Rogen style of comedy.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Maybe it's time for a Stiller comeback.
Nah, that's all right.
I feel like I rewatched at least part of the first one not too long ago, just to see if I remembered it, and it's got its moments. It's silly, but
it's awful. It's just, let's just be honest, people. Come on, it's a terrible comedy. It's awful. It's just awful. It's not funny.
The gasoline fight, though.
That's the only thing that's funny. And isn't that like within like the first 10 minutes?
It's towards the beginning. In limited release next week, we have Where to Invade Next. That's the Michael Moore, the new Michael Moore documentary. Heard good things. Okay. He's in the hospital. I just read that he ended up in the hospital.
Yeah.
He has pneumonia. Because he's doing like the press tour for Where to Invade Next, but he's also doing a lot of work in Michigan for the refugees and all of that stuff, and the water shortage.
Yeah.
So I think he just wore himself out. Got pneumonia. Glassland comes out. I don't remember. I have a few emails about that, but I can't remember what it's about. Do you remember what that one's about?
What's it called?
Glassland.
No, I do not. I'm gonna look it up real quick. Bear with me.
It's with Toni Collette, and it is Jack Rayner. John lives with his mother Jean in a South Dublin social housing suburb and ekes out a meager living as a nocturnal taxi driver, barely making ends meet.
Okay.
He returns home one morning to find his mother an unwavering alcoholic unconscious, and this was not the first time.
So there's a pattern.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know what to say about that one. It seems okay, I guess. We also have A War, which is the new one from God damn it, why am I blanking on his name right now?
Oh, Lindholm?
Yeah,
Tobias
Lindholm?
I know who you're talking about. I can't remember if that's his name. I like how I type it in. It doesn't give me anything.
No, I just did the same thing.
Is it War of the Worlds? No. Typed in A War. The movie's called. It should be a perfect fucking match.
Star Wars.
Yeah.
Star
Did I
Wars
type
saga?
in The Worlds Episode 3 Revenge Sith? Did I type any of those things in? No, I did not. I typed in and War. The hell?
Why is this not coming up?
Is it actually a movie?
It is. I think it's.
There it is. IMDb, trusty. Oh, trusty IMDb. Yeah, Tobias Lindholm.
Yes.
All that work. All that fucking work.
All of that just for confirmation. This one, it doesn't really appeal to me. It's kind of tells the story of two soldiers, I believe, and or maybe it tells the story of a soldier who's at war and then kind of what's happening at home with his family. And it looks, I'm sure it'll be fine. I think it's, I don't know if it's an Oscar submission.
Yep.
Yeah. So I'm sure it's going to be quite good. It's just one of those that I feel like it doesn't really appeal to me right now.
Yeah. I hear you.
Also, Nina Forever comes out, and It's Always Tomorrow in It's Already Tomorrow in Hong Kong.
Yeah.
And VOD next week, we have Southbound. That's the anthology horror film that looks okay. I saw a trailer for it, but I'm like concerned. It's by the same producers that put together the VHS movies. This one's not found footage or anything, but it all revolves around like people on a road trip, like highway driving. I think that all the stories intersect around like the same stretch of desert highway or something.
That could be interesting.
Yeah, a couple of them looked interesting. I don't think there's a lot of it. I think it's maybe 3 or 4 stories. So yeah, I'll probably be checking that one out. And Mythica 2: The Dark Spore comes out. But fantasy movie with Kevin Sorbo.
That's what we need.
Yeah.
That's what we all been dying for.
And I think that what's next Friday? Oh yeah, next Friday's the 12th, right?
Yeah.
Yes. Okay, so Glassland also comes out, as does the Cabin Fever remake.
Yeah.
So yeah.
All right.
On Blu-ray next week, we have Spectre. That was a meh for me.
Yeah.
Actually, I fell asleep for most of it, so I really can't say. I was pretty bored by it. Crimson Peak, I would recommend that one. We have Freaks of Nature. That's this really odd horror movie that got released. The reason that it's odd is that there was like no marketing for it at all, and all of a sudden it just existed. And they were like, "Hey, this is coming out next week."
I love when that happens.
Yeah, I really don't. I mean, it must be really bad that they did it that way, but it has, some big people in it: Dennis Leary, Patton Oswalt, Bob Odenkirk, Joan Cusack, Vanessa Hudgens.
Mm-hmm.
So I have no idea what to think about that one. Grandma comes out. That got some buzz when that one came out. 99 Homes, MI5, Love the Coopers.
Nice. Looking forward to Mission Impossible.
Nope.
Take it that's what you're talking about?
Nope.
That's not what you're talking about?
Nope. It looks like that's what I'm talking about, but it's not.
Oh, got my hopes up.
Yep. That's pretty much it. Bunch of anime as usual. As per usual. Tokyo Ghoul Season 1 comes in a really cool looking box set. Caught a couple episodes of that Tokyo Ghoul show, and it's decent. It's a little weird.
Nice. That's what I wanted to hear. That's how you sell things to me.
It's a little weird.
It's a little weird. I'm like, yep. I'm in.
Looks like Arrow Films is releasing Sheba Baby from 1975, and it's got a really awesome cover.
Fantastic.
Yep, classic Pam Grier. That's all I got. What do you got on the Criterion front?
Oh, we got one. We got one. It's a box set. It's getting 2 films. Getting a doubler. From Jan Troll, I guess. I have no idea if that's how you pronounce his name. Over the course of 2 films, he charts a Swedish farming family's voyage to America, which has legends Max von Sydow and Liv Ullmann as the couple. That seems interesting. I've never heard of these films.
No, nor have I.
Immigrants in the New Land.
Cool.
Never heard of them. From 70, 71, and 72.
Check it.
There you go. I guess. I don't know. Didn't see it. You're going to have to make your own damn decisions. Don't know anything about it.
All right. Well, on that note, I think that wraps it up for this week. Be sure to send us your questions and topics to podcast@filmpulse.net. You can follow us on Twitter @FilmPulseNet and @FilmPulseKevin. And if you have a minute, take a look at our Patreon page, patreon.com/FilmPulse, and consider helping us out by becoming a subscriber. We appreciate that so very much. You guys are amazing. For Kevin Rakestraw, my name's Adam Patterson, and we'll see you next week.